Everybody, welcome back to the Forge. If that intro didn't pique your interest, I don't know what on earth would. Today we're going to put these two knives head to head to prove an extremely important point. This is my most important video I have done yet, so stay tuned and watch what is to come. Let me get into the intro here. A lot of times people will buy a handmade knife thinking, hey, it's cool, it's fun, it's a curio. I'll pay a little more money because it was hand done. After all, it's one of a kind. That's cool. And well, I don't want to use it. It's probably not as strong as another knife. I'm going to try to kind of treat it nicely and I'll be soft and gentle with it. And a lot of times your hand forged knives kind of get a get out of jail free card because they're not treated as harshly or as abusively as a factory made knife. There's a lot of reasons for that, of course. Someone doesn't want to beat up a knife they paid a lot of money for. But I think the other part of it is a lot of times these handmade knives are not really made to the standard of a factory-made knife. Sometimes the factory-made knives are actually better heat treating and they can take punishment more. And I don't want Mars Fire Forged knives like that. I want my knives to be actually better than your beater knife. I want my knives to be actually stronger and perform better and cut longer and cut better and be more durable than even your best factory made knives. I'm not making these as wall hangers. I'm making these to compete with and destroy and beat these other factory made knives like Essie and Cold Steel and Benchmade and Spartan knives and all the rest. I want my knives to be actually better than them in function and not just look nice. So in an effort to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt that they do in fact stand up to that, I am going to put an Essie knife here head to head with my test knife. This is a knife that has my same heat treatment, same edge geometry as all my other knives, but I beat the crap out of it all the time in order to test the strength of other knives that I don't want to beat the crap out of. So quickly about the Essie and this knife. They're super similar. You can see they're just very similar in size. This appears to be thicker in the back. That's because it's been pounded so much with a hammer that the back is actually denting in. I've already done a lot of testing with this knife. They're about the same weight. Mars Fire is slightly lighter. They're both 1095 high carbon steel, and they're both tempered around 58 Rockwell hardness. This one might be 60 actually. They're similar though, Rockwell hardness, okay? So the Essie has the reputation of being bomb-proof, do it all, can't beat it, take it into harm's way, it'll never let you down. And so that's why I bought it purposefully to say, okay, I know that's a good knife. I know I bet my life on this knife because other people do. Can I beat that knife with one of mine? That's what we're going to get at here. So let me tell you some of the rules and then we'll start in with the competition. Keep watching. All right, I'm using objective terminology. Better. How can I use objective terminology for something that is pretty subjective? Well, here's how I determine better. A knife that can cut with less resistance, which means it can cut more deeply, it can cut easily, it can cut better. It's the one you pick up if you're gonna go to get a deer or in the kitchen. It cuts slices easier and is more durable, is a better knife. Generally, you can have a knife that cuts really, really well. Think X-Acto knife, utility knife, cuts super, super well, right? But it's not durable. It'll shatter. Or you can have a knife that's really, really durable. Think some big chopper. It's really durable, but it doesn't cut really, really well. You usually have to compromise on one or the other. So if I can find a knife that cuts nice, cuts better than another knife, but it's also at the same time more durable than that knife, I'm gonna say it's better, right? Because you're doing both things better. Picture Mario Kart or something like that, where you've got their stats. Some are better than this and some are down like this. Well, in my mind, if you can cut better and you're more durable, you're a better knife. So those are my standards, and that's what I'm going to use the objective term better or not based off of that. Let's start in then, while we still have an edge on these knives, with a little cutting so we can see which one cuts easier, cuts better. Check it out. Right. Let's try going through some leather. See what it feels like. All right, now let's feel this one. A little more pressure is needed. A little more crunchy. Smoother. I don't know if you can tell the difference in the pressure, but I'm needing to apply more pressure here. So for me, this is feeling more comfortable. Let's check out this dowel rod. This is one for me is really important. So I'm going to try to just angle it just to when I first start to feel the edge bite. See what that looks like. Now see here we're kind of getting, this is what I would consider kind of scraping. Because of the angle of that edge, we've got to increase the angle of the knife to make it connect, and when it does, it's kind of scraping. Now let's just rotate this to another clean edge here. And see how this is cutting. So that's how I want a knife to work, is to make those long cuts like that. That's comfortable. This is, see how it's jumping and scraping? That's what I mean by the ease of cutting. Let's go here. Just not quite grabbing. When it did go, it went too deep. Here. See how that's getting those long. So there's a difference there, and I think that illustrates it pretty well. Let's also do some crunch cuts here. So I'm just going to put my hand on the back and push down with a knife. Already had a good one there. Good one there. Okay. This. So this could be the angle of the knife, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling I'm getting a better crunch cut here than I am with this. They are both accomplishing it though. Okay, well that was quick, but the data for that is in. The Mars Fire cut better. It was easier to go through the wood, and it chopped easier, crunched easier through the rope. I know it's only 2 mediums, but with all the cutting I've done, those are the only 2 mediums I need to feel what knife moves through with less difficulty. So again, I know I'm kind of biased for Mars Fire, obviously, but you can go back and review the footage, make up your own mind on that. But from my perspective, from what I felt over here, Mars Fire cut better. Now, in accordance with my philosophy earlier, we should expect to see a little less durability from the Mars Fire, right? If you cut better, then you're probably a little bit less durable. Maybe some chipping, things like that. So in my mind right now, I would think, okay, well, didn't cut quite as good, the Essie, but I bet it's going to do better in the durability. Well, let's see what happens. Right. That time, we got a big roll. Big roll right there, going through the brass. All right, let's send this guy through the brass. Edge looking good. There's our once. There's it went through there. And there's the mark where it went through. There's no edge damage there. We'll do a second time as well. Nice deep cuts into the brass. And once again, see, our edge is fine. Now this here is from steel I was doing previously. Right, that's not where our brass is. So let's look at these edges side by side. Got a big old ding there for the brass, and we've got no damage here with the brass. Let's move on to steel. Let's go. All right, so we've eaten away that edge pretty well. We'll look at it in a second. We've gotten deep through our nail. And we can go the rest of the way. And we're almost all the way through there. So we've got our nail. You look at our edge, and we're clean. We're good to go. Went through right there. So let me get a closer up in comparison here. So Essie, the nail, and the brass. And interestingly enough, the brass had more of a roll. The Mars Fire, you're pretty good there. Some surface kind of glints, but nothing like this. On our cut section, let's try to go through this rope. My shoulder. Same section where we did batoning. Let's try to go through this rope. All right, pretty simple. So you see some of the advantage of being able to maintain your ability to cut after some abuse has been done, because this can do nothing now. You know, that's useless there. Whereas here, again, right over the areas in which we've cut, we're able to go through. So it's not just the look of the damage, it's the function of the damage, and the Mars Fire continues to function. Let's keep going. All right. I don't like this any more than you do, but it's got to be done. So let's just get it over with. All right. That did some damage. All right, now let's take a look at these edges. So, if you can focus here, you can see this edge is gone. Super gone. It's just completely rolled over there. Not gonna be able to cut. Mars Fire, doing a little better. Of course, the edges hurt, but much easier to repair and not completely gone. So, completely rolled over and useless edge. It's gonna take a lot of time to fix. A serviceable edge, that's not gonna be too hard to fix. Let's show you a little bit more. Now this is where the magic happens. I'm about to restore this knife to where it can be easily usable. Give me a couple seconds here on the 100 grit sandpaper. You can see how I'm doing this fairly casually. Back and forth, back and forth. Stay with the angle of the convex grind. Downward pressure, moving back. The sandpaper will do the rest of the work. All right, and let's throw a little 200 grit on there. Convex is easy to resharpen. It resharpens up quickly, minimal effort. You can use lots of different mediums to sharpen it up. And there we are. Let's give that a little strap as well. Okay, you've seen the entire time it takes now. Watched it all live action. Now, let's get back to some of the rope. Sorry, folks. Right through it again. So look at that edge restored. There's still some parts where I gotta do a little more work, like here. But you are ready to rock and roll again with this knife. Okay, it's gonna take more work than that to get this guy back. I might just try it off camera and see how long it takes. But there you go. A little bit of sharpening and you're back to an edge that can work, can cut. Go back to your woodwork. It's like it's risen from the grave. No chips, no breaks, nothing that can't be fixed with a little bit of sandpaper. There you have it. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. And just to recap, the Mars Fire cut better than the SE, and the Mars Fire also sustained significantly less damage in both the brass and the steel and the brick test than the SE did. And then finally, it was very easy to bring back to a nice workable edge with just a little bit of effort. Now, this isn't totally fair, right? Because, well, this is flat ground, that's convex ground. Yeah, I realize that. I'm not really testing grinds, I'm testing knives. And this knife, with its hardness and its heat treat and its convex grind, performed better, according to the standards that we set at the beginning, than this knife did. And that's just objectively true. Now, I'm not trying to say SE isn't a good knife. SE is a great knife, a terrific knife. Like I said before, a lot of soldiers go into harm's way with SE. They have a great track record. So that tells me that Mars Fire is even greater than that. At least in this test it was. You see, this whole thing isn't to say, hey, SE's no good, don't buy it. No, SE's great. And if this is the price range you're working in, go ahead and buy it because it's going to serve you really well. But if you want something especially good, that's gonna really be a lifetime knife, then you spend a little money, a little more money, and you can get something handmade. And you don't just have to say, oh fun, it was handmade, cool. You can say, it's handmade and it outperforms these factory made knives. So that was the whole point of this, and I hope I proved it to you. But comment down below, ask me any clarifying questions, critiques, that's fine, obviously. If it's a good critique, then I'll pay good attention to it. So, I hope you guys subscribe. I would love to see you hit that notification button so you know when I come out with some new knives. I've got a website, marsfireforge.com. I think it's all good, but I'm not a huge website guy, so if you have any trouble with that, just fire me an email at marsfireforge@gmail.com. That should also be on the website. Website's got my phone number, and I will always be happy to receive a call or a text or whatever. I always pick up the phone. I just have to do it. It's my habit. So get a hold of me if you want a knife like this. This one, something of this size, we're probably looking at $300 for that. But this all depends on handle and the finish you want on it. It's all custom, so we can be custom with the pricing. Anyway, I've spoken enough. Thank you guys for watching, and hope you enjoyed. See you next time.